Emotions. You got me feeling emotion. I don't think we're on YouTube yet, or is there a delay?
Let's see. I'll check it out.
There might be a delay. That's the only bad thing on YouTube.
Yeah, we're live on YouTube.
Really?
All good. Yep.
Can you send me the YouTube link? Oh, I see it.
All good. Yep.
Okay, yeah, I see it. All right. Make sure you turn monetization on because I need my whopping $100 from YouTube a month. I'm joking, but it is good to monetize. All right. You get ads if you watch on YouTube. Here you don't. All righty. Hello, hello. Great job. Yes. Joy to my heart. So, Walter, I think there's an email. Um, and we have customer care every day from 10 to 1 Eastern. All right. So let me get this. I wrote a deck. Can you believe I wrote a deck? Well, actually, ChatGPT did. But I just obviously I talked the whole time and it gave me a deck. It's only 11 slides. I'm not going to sell you anything. Although, if you weren't sold on Platform X and Newsflow Scanner and the option pit uh, this week, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe Christian will post a number where you can get them. But let me give the, if you have any questions, feel free to post. But let me get the slide deck so I stay on topic. You know, you know me. I'll get out of topic and we can get rolling. I had to message myself it. All right. So it's going to be called, and this will be on YouTube as well, probably in the next like couple hours. So if you want to rewatch it or get the slides, is there any way to do slide PDF into Google Docs or no?
Uh, I believe so.
How do you do like one slide per page? You can tell I don't do slide decks. Oh God, doesn't even look right. All right, maybe I could do it this way. I got it. Look, I figured it out. All right, let me grab the screen. Obviously, I don't write my own decks usually. All righty. All right, let's get to it. Oh yeah, Wally Mart. Good old Wally Mart. Those 129 puts. Good old Wally. All right. So, everyone can see the screen? There's a couple second delay in the chat. Let me know if you can see the screen. It should say managing your emotions. I
Yep.
have to move the camera. A simple guide to staying calm in the markets, learning to control your mind, not just your money. Very important. So, how many people do we have? Like, obviously, I can't see.
About 250.
All right. So, this will be hopefully the most realistic training you'll get. By the way, look at Pinterest go from those calls. There's no like turn $500 into X amount, nothing like that. Just stuff I thought of at like 6 a.m. this morning. All right. First things first. Trading, especially if you're new, can feel scary. And when you risk your money, so your real money, right? There's a reason why paper trading is not real trading, or if you're uh, trading for a firm, you don't have the emotional attachment to your money. But when it's your money and it goes up and down, especially if you're losing money, your brain thinks you are in a state of danger, just like you would if a bear was chasing after you. So usually you have panic come in. Like, for example, let's say you bought a lot of NVIDIA calls. The next day, NVIDIA is down 5% on a downgrade. You're going to be that morning in panic. Oh my God, what do I do? Because your brain goes into survival mode. That can make you feel stress, shaky, tense, and ready to run away, aka ready to close the position. You wake up, you see you're down a lot of money. you don't think rationally. You say, I can't feel this anymore. You go into shutdown mode. And that is the part of the brain that solves problems, shuts off when you get too emotional, leading to bad decisions. So if you've ever had, let's say you, I don't know, let's say you bought SPY calls this morning, right? Like a donkey, and you did the 0 day or the weeklies, and you're like, oh, the market's going to rally. And then the market kind of just has done nothing but faded. You're probably going to be in that mode of, what do I do? That survival mode. You're tense. So, one thing I've realized, and again, this is especially if you're new and it can feel scary, is the more bad situations, or maybe not even bad's the correct word, the more abnormal situations you put yourself in, meaning you don't do it often. So if you're new, for example, it's going to feel scary. The more times you're in stressful situations, you'll get used to it. So the exposure was just like flying a plane. The more you do it, the less scary it feels. So the more times you're in a bad spot trading, or you're like, hey, I'm down money, your first couple of times you're going to panic. But the more tolerance you have, the more comfortable you become with, let's say again, losing money, then you can realize it's not that big of a deal. And to give you one more example, I, as a, I don't know, teenager and young adult, I never flew, right? We didn't have money, we didn't take vacations. Not till I was getting into business in my mid 20s that I fly on airplanes. I flew one time when I was like, I don't know, 8 years old. So when I would go to airports, I would get anxiety. I didn't know what it was. It was fear. It was the unknown. I would get really bad anxiety. Can I get past TSA? Are they going to check my bags? Am I at the right gate? Am I in the right seat? Does my ticket work? Right? I would get into, I don't want to say panic, but I would get lots of anxiety leading up to that because it was not normal. It was not comfortable. The more I flew, because I had to for work, the less scary and the less anxiety I become. So anything you do that's new and that's abnormal, like trading stocks is not a normal thing to do, I would say, right? Putting your money into a 401k or a mutual fund is more normal because you don't have to make decisions. So usually for newer people, they're like, oh my God, the market's crashing. I thought the market only went up every day. What do I do? You're going to have anxiety and it's going to feel scary. And there's really some steps to that. One, especially if you're brand new, or maybe you're just having fear, specifically on placing a trade. For example, back in the day, when we would have new people come over, they would sit at the desk and they couldn't click the buy button because, again, they were new. They weren't used to it. They had the fear of losing money. So you might freeze when it's time to take the trade because you have a fear of losing money, and that becomes stronger than your plan. And we'll get to plans in just a moment, which are very important. So you might have a mental block that stops you from clicking the mouse or clicking the button when you know you should. Kind of like I still get it to this day. Like I didn't want to take Carvana puts. I thought they were good and Walmart puts because I was already up a lot of money yesterday and I didn't want to take more risk. So I was looking at Walmart and Carvana saying puts, puts, puts. But I had a fear still of losing money, so I didn't take them. Obviously, now they would have worked out, but it would have been I didn't want to do it. The fear of losing. Your brain naturally hates losing twice as much as it likes winning. This is called loss aversion. So we're taught growing up, a lot of this comes from childhood, uh, because this is the way we're programmed as humans. Not saying it's bad, but we're always taught we need to win growing up. And if you lose, it's bad or a disappointment. But in order to be a good winner, you have to be a good loser. So I usually say newer traders should expect to lose money the first 2 to 4 years. Obviously, you're not going to see that in a marketing deck, right? But I would say if you're starting off, be prepared to lose money or break even for 2 to 4 years before it starts to click, before that fear, before that anxiety you can overcome. Also, there's overthinking. Trying to find the perfect trade doesn't exist until you wait too long and miss the chance. So, for example, a lot of people, when buying silver at 50 or 55 even, to go to 75 and then 100, said, eh, whatever. But then when it was at 100, everyone wanted to buy it because it was safe. It felt safe. We always want to buy when things feel safe. We always overthink when it's not safe. And sometimes you let the best opportunities pass you by, then you have FOMO and you're not thinking clearly. So overthinking, there's no such thing as the perfect trade. So follow a simple checklist instead of your gut feelings that we'll get to in a minute. So far, so good? Let me see if I have the chat here. Sheepdog gets searched every time when he flies. I used to when I had long hair. I really did. I think they thought I was uh, well, I won't say it because we're on YouTube. All right, good. Let's keep going. The money trap. Haha. This is something that I have a fix for. Yes, there will be a slide deck, or this will be on YouTube with a slide deck here in a minute. All right. So one of the worst things, and I had a few people ask me this in person, and I actually use a sticker, or actually I was using a sticker to cover my P&L, so I couldn't see it. And then now I switched to Robinhood, where it doesn't give you like a clear P&L picture usually on your screen. So watching your profits and loss go up and down in real time is a trap, especially if you're trading weekly options. Big time. It makes you emotional and causes bad decisions. For example, Carnival puts today gap down, then went to like 30, basically break even. You might be saying, oh no, I was up money yesterday. Today I'm at break even. Let me close out. Only to watch the stock go down another 2.5%. So that emotional roller coaster is I'm up, I'm down, I'm winning, I'm losing, I'm up money, I'm down money. When you watch your money, it can make you greedy, aka cut winners too soon, which is, I would say, my biggest problem still to this day, or scared, leading to quitting too early or revenge trading when you lose. I gotta make my money back. That's revenge trading. You have a down day or you lose money on a trade and then you do 2 or 3 trades to make up for your loss because you lost $100. Now you need to make $100 back ASAP. Not good. The stress loop. When you watch your money, it can cause physical stress. It makes you stop thinking clearly. So when I would go and we would have someone new come in and they would lose money, they would go like this. Oftentimes, especially guys are the worst at this. They'd get mad and go and hit their desk. Darn it, I lost. I'm down. What do I do? You're not thinking clearly when you're angry. And if you are emotional or you do get angry easily, we'll go over some things that can help that. Watching the process. So when you focus on following your trading plan, that's why I often say jot things down, take notes, follow a system, right? It could be platform X where it's telling you buy, 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 sell, sell, sell. Something. Up, down arrows, moving average. When you follow that, it will help you keep calm and make your trading more consistent. Because if you lose, it wasn't necessarily your fault. It was the system lost that time, but not you. So then you know there is a fix, right? Now, what I like to do is hide my profit and loss numbers or my P&L, and I will literally put a sticker on my computer screen. I can't show you because the camera, but I would get a sticker. Okay, like imagine this One Piece card, which is now One Piece is popular. I would put this, let's say my P&L was here. I would put a sticker so I could not see my P&L on my screen, wherever it was. I wouldn't know how much money I had in my account. I wouldn't know if I was up money or down money. So I would not be able to see the price fluctuations. Because if I did, if I was up money, maybe I would gamble more or take more weekly options or more risk. If I was down money, maybe I wouldn't pull the trigger on something I should. So hide the money or hide your P&L, I should say. Find the process, whatever it may be, whatever. Well, that's a big order that hit. Is that a biotech company? Is that biotech? What does ATX do? Wow. Holy crap. What a chart. What does ATX do? It's a big order for that ticker. So then you can get into isolation. Now, these are a couple roads of I went down. So hopefully you can learn from this, or maybe you did it too. So spending all day on the computer is very lonely. There's no sugarcoating this. It is a very individual, lonely thing to do. Just being honest. It really is. Thankfully, we have communities like here where you can interact and chat, stuff like that, and there's shows basically all day long. So I used to call it dungeon mode. AKA, I lock myself up in the dungeon and don't do anything. That's what I did back when I got really fat before I moved to Costa Rica for a little bit. I lost friends, girlfriend. It got too intense. So every day felt like running a marathon because you get highs and lows and you go crazy. And it can cause stress at home. So if you get mad or you get grumpy, that would happen to me. I would often get, you get hangry where you're when you're hungry and want to eat. I would get grumpy to say the least, where I wouldn't want to call anyone or talk to anyone. I would, again, dungeon mode. If I had a big, like one day I lost like 60,000 bucks and I felt like a donkey. I didn't want to talk to anyone or tell anyone, and no one will understand it but you. So if I go to my girlfriend and say, "Hey, today I made 6,000 bucks on Palantir. I bought weekly calls and sold them at the open, then the stock sold off. What a genius I am." She ain't gonna give two craps. Or if I say, "Hey, I lost 4 grand today on uh Intel weekly calls. The stock popped, but I didn't sell them, and then the stock sold off later in the day while I was at the gym. I forgot to close them." She's gonna be like, "Geez, you lost money? What an idiot." No one's gonna understand. So with that, you can get into isolation mode or you can control your emotions. I would highly suggest do not get in isolation mode. You need to stay sane. You need to schedule time away from the screens. That could be going to lunch during the day, going to breakfast, whatever it may be. Take some time, go on a walk or watch TV. Don't get hooked on the computer. The ripple effect. Well, this is kind of the same. It will affect and carry with you. For me, I got fat. I really did. I got fat in a short amount of time. I was grumpy. I would eat a lot at night to get me zoned out so I could go up to work, not think about it. Because you don't want to be thinking in the middle of the night or waking up early, oh my God, what are the S&P futures doing? Oh, what's going to happen tomorrow? I got calls in this and the market's going to gap down 2%. Being physically present and still mentally, you should be having fun. It should be entertaining. It should even be at points relaxing. You get the pleasure and the leisure of being on the computer, staring at charts and watching shows and being able to do research. That's a really, I don't want to say privileged thing to do, but it's a really cool thing you get to do. You're not having to go, like there's a guy in the house next to me. There's two guys building a dock in the water right now. There's gators in the lake, right? And they're waist deep in the water, putting poles down. I'd rather be doing this than doing that. So you want to be a stress-free zone. And we'll go over how to cope with that and how to calm your body now. So when you get stressed, your body goes into fight or flight mode. You can use these tricks, and this is where you're going to think I'm a little wonky, a little loony, to reset your brain and get back to work. So the easiest thing I would say without getting too cuckoo, because I can, I've done it all, is the simple thing of, wow, they're really buying a lot of puts in airliners, aren't they? American puts, JetBlue puts, all coming across here.
Yep, Delta too.
Wow, a lot of airliner puts. Oh, I bet you because of the overseas.
Yeah.
So the thing I like to do, and it's the easiest, is I can't here. Let me see if I can go down a little bit more. You guys are going to see my junk if I do. Is basically knee tapping. You could do your side of your leg, you could do your knee, you could do your hip, you could basically back and forth tapping. The bilateral sound movement. Or what you can do, and this is what I do when I hop on flights, is you can have headphones or music and have, let me see if I can't play it because I think YouTube will flag me here. But basically it will be um, bilateral deep relaxation. So basically it's sound, 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 sound. Same with the tapping. Also, what I like to do, and this is where you get a little loony, is you can watch your hand go back and forth and you just stare at the hand. You would put your hand and just watch it with your eyes. You kind of get into a hypnosis state. You just do it and it will kind of bring you back down to reality. Of course, you could get into hypnosis, the little thing like that. I've done that too. I really liked it, but that's a whole other thing. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule. List 5 things you see, 4 you hear, 3 you feel, 2 you smell, 1 you taste to stop emotional panic. Kind of similar. When you're like doing this, you want to think about like how you feel. Basically, I would do like I'm planting my feet to where I feel secure. Again, a little loony, I know, but it does work. And then cold water. Some people do cold showers, splashing cold water on your face, kind of doing something again out of the ordinary to get you back into reality. Because you can't think clearly if your heart is racing. You need to keep your body and mind calm. So bring you back down to reality. And then look at everything from outside the box, not just inside, right? You want to look at it from a different perspective, not just the tunnel vision that we often find ourselves in. Yeah, bilateral beats, bilateral music, whatever, like Spotify and stuff, they all have good things. Yeah. Progressive relaxation. Carlos puts on Motown and does the Temptation moves. That's fantastic too. Putting on, music. I used to listen to hard, heavy metal. Uh, I don't know if that was a good thing back in the day or not, but yeah. Then you have breathing. So there's different types of breath work. You can go down a YouTube rabbit hole. You could go, I'm sure at your local place where you live, there's a breath work person and like a yoga studio, or just you could even probably go on like TaskRabbit or Thumbtack and find someone to do breath work, or just watch a YouTube video. Uh, you don't have to meditate, so to speak, although that's good. But breathing is the fastest way to turn off your body's stress response and get your brain back in gear. So deep breaths are good. When I was in Costa Rica the other month, we would do you know, stuff like that. And it was good. There's sound healing music you could put, although if you want to go in person, that's pretty cool too. But basically try to reset your body. If you can control your breath, you can control your trading decisions, especially for guys. Guys, you would probably think, again, kind of loony, doing breath work, breathing, all this weird stuff. But you could just go on YouTube and type in and just follow some random person online if you want. I mean, you're already on the computer. You don't have to go full out. Now, again, this is my sticker trick, so I can't see. Sometimes being new and naive is the best thing because you don't have as much fear out there. For example, when you were younger, I can say this about myself. When I was in, let's say, my 20s, I didn't give two craps about anything really. I was riding on the clouds, right? I didn't have a lot of money, but I was just thinking I was invincible. If you said, hey, you have fear, you have anxiety, I have to be like, what? What are you talking about? As we get older, we start developing habits and we stop doing things we did when we were younger a lot. Like, for example, if I go out skimboarding at the beach where you throw the board and jump on it, I'd probably be a little nervous. I'd probably have a little anxiety. I'm going to fall on my butt because I haven't done it in 10 plus years. But when I was in my 20s, when I was going to the beach, doing it all the time, it was like I didn't even have to think about it. So hiding the money column or the P&L is a simple trick to focus on your charts and your strategy, your plan. Again, I can't tell you how important like Platform X or the master indicator is because you're literally getting buy, green dots, up arrow. And then if it goes against you, or you want to buy and it's saying sell, all red dots, you're like, why am I buying it when it's telling me to sell, right? I know if I do it against the system, I'm probably going to have a losing outcome because I'm a visual learner. So that's why I created them like 8 7, 8 years ago to help me. Not just doing a cheap plug, but of course I am. But if you can hide the emotional attachment and the anxiety of losing money by seeing plus and minus on the screen, you'll be able to focus more on your plan. So if you stop the panic, stop seeing the money changes, your brain won't freak out when price moves against you. Or, oh my God, yes, I'm up so much money. The stock's moving in my direction. My calls are probably up 60, 70% now. I wonder how much I'm up. Who cares? Because as soon as you see you're up 500 bucks, what are you going to do? You're going to take profits. You probably won't hold extra. Maybe there's more meat on the bone, right? Follow the plan. It's easier to stick to your rules and strategies when you're looking at the chart patterns and not the dollar amount. Especially too if you dumb down your charts to maybe one or two charts instead of like when I had 16, right? Calmer trading, so hiding the P&L acts like a shield protecting you from stress of every tick and helps you make better decisions in the long run. So it's the sticker trick. It could be a sticker, it could be, I don't know, a piece of tape, whatever, so you don't see it. And then trade with guardrails. I can't tell how many people over trade, especially size wise. So I would suggest if you want to go back to square one, I don't care if you have 6 figures or 7 figures or I don't know, what is 5 figures? Do one or two contracts. You're not going to get that high if you're normally doing 50 or 100 contracts, but I guarantee your anxiety and your emotional attachment won't get as involved. Not saying you won't care, but it will help you simplify everything. So kind of starting back to, excuse me, to square one. Then using a strict system like having guardrails helps you from driving over the edge when you get emotional. So again, I don't care if you're using Platform X or the master indicator, but it could be a, I don't know, 20-day moving average. Whatever it is, stock breaks 20-day moving average, sell. Stock crosses 20-day moving average, buy. Whatever it may be, have clear signals, visuals. That's why I created Platform X and Master Indicator. When to buy and sell, leaving room for no doubt. So you'll eliminate your bias, your emotions. And then follow a checklist. You jot it down. Follow a strict list of steps on each trade. So you don't have to guess when or to make gut decisions. So you should write down not only I took this trade because of this, but also how did I feel? Do I think I oversized? Did I get nervous? Did I watch it like a hawk? Why did I get out? What did I do? Therefore, you know, hey, if I got put in that situation again, you could go back to your notes and say, well, I felt this way last time. And then this happened. So now that you're comfortable because you thought that way before, you're not going to get as much anxiety and as much emotion because you experienced it before. Going back to our airplane, when I told you I didn't go on airplanes as a kid till my late 20s, so I had anxiety and I was nervous and I had fear of flying. The more I did it, the more I put myself in the plane seat, the less anxiety I got. So the more you put yourself in that situation and now you have it documented, you'll feel less fear, less anxiety, less emotional. Because it's not personal. Sometimes you're going to get unlucky. For example, I had Norwegian cruise calls for wiretap. Monday, the stock gapped up because Elliott management took a stake. He probably bought puts against his long stock position so he wouldn't get flagged by the feds. Nothing I can do about that. Zero. It happens. Sometimes you get unlucky. It's not personal. Doesn't mean you're a failure or you're bad. It's just sometimes you're going to get unlucky. So if you position yourself correctly via size, when you do lose, you won't get emotion. You won't say, ah, darn it, I really screwed that one up. So yeah, it happens. Now, if you held the stock and you're like, I'm going to sell it if it crosses below the 20-day moving average, or I get a down arrow and you keep holding on and it goes from 20 bucks to 15 bucks, then to 10 bucks and you're still holding on, well, then you screwed up. You didn't follow your plan. You could have done something about that. So sometimes it's not your fault, and you have to accept that. Sometimes you just get unlucky. It's going to happen. There's easy decisions by having rules, following an outline, a game plan, because you won't have to think so hard. You won't get into panic. You won't get into what should I be doing. So again, I'm watch list, news flow scanner, platform X with the shows you a watch list and top tickers. You just need something. Again, something to give you a guideline of what's the day going to be like, or at least some kind of cheat sheet, some kind of system to where you're not just saying, "Oh, I saw Carvana was mentioned on CNBC. I'm going to trade it now." Well, you know how many other people thought of that? Probably the 500,000 people watching CNBC thought the same thing. So then you're just following the crowd. You're a sheep instead of a wolf. So use something. Again, some system, some guideline that protects you from making impulsive decisions. My sweet tea is almost done. Keep a journal. It could be notes. I still have notes in my closet from back in the day. I'm not telling you need a journal and be some novel writer and be the New York Times bestseller, but just say, I don't care if it's one line. Ticker, Microsoft, bought weekly calls. The damn thing gapped down the next day on an upgrade. I felt like crap. Sold Microsoft. Won't trade it again. It could be as simple as that. Or you can log your feelings, which is what I would do. How did you feel before, after, during the trade? If you felt stressed, why? Did you go too big? Did you pick an expiration that was maybe too short dated to where you got nervous? Then notice yourself. Again, kind of, did you do some kind of bilateral movement, some tapping because you got stressed out? Look at those clues. And then once you recognize yourself by your habits of how you react, then you'll be able to see your mistakes on paper and help you recognize them. So therefore, they don't become fear and anxiety because you'll be more comfortable doing it. Well, this happened to me last time. It's happening to me again. You know what? It doesn't have as much anxiety this time because I've experienced it before. So when you see your mistakes and you can recognize the why, then you'll know, well, I'm feeling this way because of this. What you measure, what you can measure, manage. Writing things down will make you better. Or I always say, control the controllable. Some stuff you have no control over. It could be the dealt of cards you got in life. You came from a rich family, great. You didn't, can't control it. But what you can control is how you react and going forward. So one thing that I always had was a fear of losing everything. because I saw that with family members. They lost everything. So as soon as I started making lots of money, I hired an accountant. I bought a big house. So if anything happened, they couldn't take my money. I got the highest insurance policies you can get. So if I got sued, they wouldn't get everything for me. Why did I do that? Because I had a fear I was going to lose everything. I didn't know at the time why. Why was I so fearful? But then I started to recognize the why, and now it's becoming less. Like I used to check all my accounts back when I was trading millions every day. Now that it's become more normal, more comfortable, less anxiety. So trading small, I cannot stress this enough. Um, I really can't. And again, your ego, especially for men, we are egotistical alpha males. Usually women are better at controlling their emotions and not as much of the ego. That's why when you see guys go to the gym, they want to lift the heavy weights and impress the honeys or impress their buddies, usually most of the time because girls care less. But your ego. And it's the same thing. When you go to, it could be a work conference or a dinner. Who's got the most expensive watch? It's the ego thing. Or who's got, oh, you got a C8 Corvette? I got the ZR1. Oh, they want to show off. And I get it. And if you can, I'm all for it. But when you're trading, if you're using small amounts to get started or come back down to learn, to practice, you'll be able to follow your rules better because then you can scale up. You can't, you can always start small and scale up, but it's very hard to start big and then scale down because usually when you do scale down, you've been humbled. So when you're trading small, it reduces stress, almost like a don't care attitude, which can be good. Kind of like when you're 25. You don't care if, the cop pulls you over for a little pot. Who cares? Doesn't matter. But now you get pulled over for a little pot, you might get a ticket. You might have to go to jail. Your coworkers might know. I don't know, depending on what state you live in, but it might be a big deal, right? When you're 25, who cares? Practice does make perfect. Well, not perfect, but practice over and over again will help you feel more comfortable. So if you get into the routine of being profitable and being consistent, it will help you. You'll get, hey, this is how it feels to be consistent and to win. It's a good feeling. And of course, if you're doing it small, you're not going to be, yeah, making tons of money. It's more of like, okay, this works for me. And you learn about yourself. So reset your brain, training your brain to stay calm and logical even when the market is moving fast. Could be the highs, could be the lows. Market could gap up and you got a lot of puts. You might be, oh crap, today's gonna suck. But if you could stay calm, or if you're trading small too, it's not gonna sting as much. So learn to follow your plan when risk is small so you can do it when risk is big. Again, I'm not saying use a paper or demo account because again, you're never gonna have that emotional attachment to fake money. But what you can do is, one, two, something small out there. The pro mindset. To be a pro, you need to stop caring about being right and start caring about your process. Steve Cohen, the hedge fund manager, said, my traders win 54% of the time. So if you are that kind of person who says, I want to have a 90% win rate, I mean, that's great, but you care about being right, not about making money. And when you have a 90% win rate, you're probably winning a couple percent. And when you're losing probably 98%. So I would rather be right 2 times out of 10 then 8 times out of 10, if the 2 times I'm making more money than I'm losing. And that's a 20% win rate. If I did that in a presentation, no one would buy it. But in reality, pro traders know it's not about the win rate. It's not about being right at all. The end of the day, all that matters is the numbers, your P&L. That's it. Win rates are like it's the biggest marketing gimmick out there. But lots of new traders like to see a high win rate. They want to be right. Yay. Because you feel good when you're right. And you're not used to being a loser. You're not good at losing. Again, they don't teach you that in school. So it's not about you. A loss doesn't mean you're bad or you're a failure. Again, it's just a normal part of the game. Be good at losing. Think in numbers. Some trades win, some lose. Focus on the results. I say do a month or two of documenting your trades. You could do 100 and see how you feel. That's what the presentation says. So we'll keep it. Do 100 trades if you want. Whatever a month, 100 trades, whatever, uh, until you get comfortable. Stay in the moment. Focus on the trade. Maybe not do too many, right? So you can narrow down on one, and you'll be able to pinpoint that a little bit better. And then be honest. The market is a mirror that shows you exactly where you need to improve your mindset and discipline. There's a real good book, I think by Alan Farley, called The Market Survival Guide, the Master Swing Trader Toolkit. And he gets into situations. Like, let's say you're long a boatload of stocks, and the next day there's some news overseas, and the markets have gapped down overnight. What are you going to do in the morning? Are you going to panic sell? Are you going to add to positions? Are you going to ride it out a little bit longer? It gets you thinking of that mindset. So master your mind. The emotions of a trade. And we'll probably do another like 10 more minutes. Planning and analysis. So if you're in the option pit, we say, hey, here are the pre-market movers, right? Here are the gap uppers, the gap downers. Here's what stock got upgraded, what got downgraded. Here are some levels, right? Like Carnival. I had an alert on my phone when we broke 31.83. I had the alert, so I got out of my puts, right? I had a plan. I sent it on Telegram. I drew on the chart yesterday because I knew exactly what I was going to do. If it gapped up over, I think it was like 33 something, I was going to exit. If it broke below, I was going to close with puts. So I had a plan. The execution, the moment you take the trade, that's when your heart starts racing and your brain wants to freeze. Then during it, if you're watching every tick of the stock going up and down, I mean, there was lots of times if the stock, like I'll pull it up here. Look, it's going up. Oh no, I'm scared. Oh, it's down. Oh no, it's up. I'm scared. Oh no, it's going against me. All those are intraday emotions, right? If you have your profit target already out or your alerts already out, you're not going to care about those little intraday moves, right? So again, hiding the P&L or putting a sticker over it is really, really important. Management, set profit targets, right? Could be 25, 30, 45, 50%. So you know the exit. Whether you won or lost, make note of it and the why. Write down what happened, how you felt, and you can learn to make better decisions next time. So that, excuse me. So now, if I see a trader come in and buy Carnival puts twice in the same day and repeat puts and in the money puts or at the money puts, I know, hey, I'm probably going to take Carnival puts again because it worked out very nicely, right? The road to being calm. This is a good one. When you're brand new, you're going to have the maximum stress. that fear of pulling the trigger, that panic. After, let's say, 10 trades, you'll get used to it. You'll start recognizing patterns. Your heart won't race as much as it did. You won't have that anxiety. So you'll start getting used to it. But again, everything is patterns. 50th trade, you'll get a routine formation. You'll be able to follow your plan more easy. Let's say by the 100th trade, you won't have that many emotions um, caught up, and you'll focus on your rules and process. And then mastery, this is again Chat GPT, but I would probably say if I was doing this, I would say your first, my thing's not working, 1 to 3 months here, 3 to 6 months here, here anywhere between 6 months to 2 years, and then mechanical anywhere from I would say probably 4 years plus. And then mastery probably, I don't know. It depends on the market environment. I would say 10 plus years. If you've only traded a bull market, though, probably double that. So a lot of the young bucks who got in the market post-COVID, most of them aren't around anymore because in 2020, was it 2022, the bear market and the Nasdaq happened and they all blew up. So they're out the gate. So doing it over and over again, the consistency is the only cure for fear. When it becomes normal, your feelings, that's when you'll get better. When it becomes more routine, you get used to it. And there's different stages. There's the impulsive, hey, I just opened up a Robinhood account, I want to buy crypto. What happened? Those people are blown the you know what out, right? They're gone. Yay, AI! It's the hottest thing ever. And then, boop, I bought this little EV stock or cannabis stock. Boop. So those are usually the impulsive people because they're in it for that quick money. Or silver bros, when silver was 100, I saw everyone on uh, social media saying about buying silver. Oh, I bought some silver coins. I'm buying silver miner stocks. And then silver went from what, 100 to what, 75, 70? So impulsive. Usually you're going to open up an account with 2 grand. That 2 grand is going to be gone within the first month. Being aware, knowing you are emotional, but still struggling to make mistakes. That's good because now you went from, hey, I know, I recognize, let me get my epic pen out. It's not easy. Once you recognize it's not easy, then you'll be able to be aware of that and you'll be able to grow. But everyone thinks it's easy. So it usually goes like this. Yay, this is great. Oh no, I lost money. What do I do? This is where people usually bow out. Right after here, they're usually gone, dead, no more. Then if you can make it through to stage 3, you'll start getting systematic, like a system. You'll start recognizing, hey, this is how I feel. Now I'm breathing correctly. I'm not getting as anxious. I'm staying calm and I'm following rules. This is where it starts to turn around. So you went from here to here, 1, 2, 3. Then you start getting mechanical. You'll trade like a bot. I mean, you won't get cold as ice. So don't think you're going to be ice cold, but you won't getting emotional. So you have a down day. You don't go to your partner and say, ah, damn it, I lost money today, and you're grumpy. You don't care. It becomes normal. Same with making money. You're not, oh, I made money. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Neiman Marcus and buy, I don't know what, shoes. Yeah, maybe I'll treat myself a little bit, but I'm not gonna tell everyone. I'm not gonna be emotional. That's when you start getting like this. More, eh. Okay. Then to the professional, this is where you've had ups and downs, but you're in, I would say, a safe spot to where if you lose money or you make money, you still feel safe. You've seen different market conditions, sideways, bullish, bearish, and you're fine with all three. When you're here and the market's going up, it's great, but then when it does this, you might go back to, oh my God, what do I do? So these are the hardest stages by far. Call it sad, sad, eh, eh, eh. But you can see, even here, you're never going to be like this unless you're, I don't know, already a gazillionaire. It's usually worrisome, anxiety, sadness, fear. Okay, start to look up. But once you get in these stages, your emotional attachment won't get like that euphoria. Usually the newbies, and that's usually the young guys, say, oh my God, I love it. I bought this stock and I'm up so much money. I'm going to go buy a Ferrari or a Porsche. And then, boop, they blow up. Then they're working at the grocery store. Discipline is a muscle that grows through practice and exposure. So again, consistency, discipline, and everything, right? So leave your trading at the desk before you go back to your real life. Shut it down. Don't be looking at the market while you're eating dinner and see, oh my God, what is Amazon doing after hours? Take breaks, walk away from the screen. I go out to lunch almost every day because I like food, but it also helps me reset. And I try not to look at my phone. Write down, set alerts on your charts. So if it does trigger a price, well, you already know your phone's going to tell you. So you're not staring at the screen. And then some days, especially if the market's just not trending, go do something fun. Get away. Don't look at the market. All right. I think we have a couple more, two more. So calm your body, use breathing, could be bilateral music, grounding to stay calm. Write things down. Turn your feelings into data so you can learn from your good and the bad mistakes. Use a system. That way you have rules and you'll stop making opinion-based decisions. Well, I think Meta's going to go down because Mark Zuckerberg is testifying in the Senate. You know how many people thought of that too? And Meta's up today because the market's always going to go where there's the max pain. You can see a stock with earnings and they had the best earnings ever, but the stock went down. Why? Again, markets will go wherever there's the max pain. By following a system, you'll stop making opinion-based decisions. Everyone has opinions. They're like buttholes. That's what my old mentor used to say. Don't matter. Market don't give two craps about your opinion or about what are the fundamentals of a stock or this or that. Doesn't matter. Try to change your mind. Unlearning bad habits is the hardest thing. A beginner's mind is a fresh mind that can learn the correct way. Uh, Dr. Wayne Dower has a book called Excuses Begone. Just like you have genetics, you have tan skin, brown hair, green eyes, because your mom or dad had brown hair, green eyes. There's also mechanics, things you learn when you're younger or through stages of life that shape the way you are today, because that's the way it's always been. That's the hardest thing to unlearn because you've done them consistently and then they've implemented in your brain. A real good book, too. Excuses Begone by Dr. Wayne Dower, where he talks about medics in the first couple of chapters. And then putting all things into one plan. So your path to better trading, calm your body, don't let your emotions get involved. Recognize it's anxiety because it is. I'm not saying go hop on Xannies and stuff, but recognize the feeling is anxiety and you're getting anxiety because it's not normal for you. It's uncomfortable. The more it becomes normal, the more it becomes comfortable, the less anxiety you'll have. Trust your rules. Don't guess. Don't have opinions. Don't be ice cold, but kind of be emotionless when it comes to money. And then follow your systematic plan. And sometimes you can even go play poker and start with a small amount of money. And if losing in poker gets you upset, recognize that. And then if you're thinking, oh, I should have called that, or man, my aces got beat, or that flush, I can't believe it. That's how trading is going to be. If you're acting like that, it's going to roll over. And then when you can say, well, I got a bad beat, I had two aces and they got lucky at the end. That's when you'll start to grow. Write it down. You're already at the desk. Just jot the little note down and be disciplined. Making one good choice at a time, being consistent will lead you to become comfortable, which will reduce your anxiety. All right, let's get into questions. And if we want Christian, we could probably cut it on YouTube there. And then we'll post the link for YouTube for it in a little bit. Yeah, turn your feelings into data. Obviously, I didn't think of that. That was ChatGPT, but it sounded good, didn't it? Huh? It sounded good. No Xannies, bummer. Well, my therapist says you can hop on Xanaxes or you can do breath work, sound